Welcome back everyone to another StarWarsUnlimited deck video, and I hope you're as hyped as I am, because not only is this the first deck I am making of set 3, it is on my man himself, Captain Rex. Not just is it Rex, it's also a Rex clone deck, as you can tell from all the minifigures. I am so excited to bring this deck to you guys, not just because it's one of my favourite characters, but because it's actually quite a good deck, and I'm getting a lot of success with it so far. This deck really surprised me. Like, I was going to build a Rex deck no matter what, but the fact it actually turned out this well, I am buzzing with. It's actually winning games, and it's winning games against good decks. I think this deck secretly has a lot of power and can definitely take decks by surprise. I can easily see this winning store showdowns, and I think with a couple of tweaks, a bit more playtesting, I'd happily take this to these bigger tournaments. So yeah, absolutely buzzing with how this deck has turned out. And like I said just now, this is my first deck build of set 3, and there's going to be plenty more to come. I've already got my second one built and ready to go. So make sure to like and subscribe, because it really helps the channel out, and also so you guys don't miss out. Before we jump into the leader, the base, the deck, I just want to say, sorry if I sound a bit different today. I've actually been quite unwell the last few days, so I haven't been able to record this and get it out to you guys as quick as I wanted, so I apologise there. With that being said, let's crack on to what Rex actually does and how the deck works. So let's start things off with the leader, and that's Rex himself. What does he actually do? So he has an action. If a friendly unit attack this phase, create a clone trooper token. But you do pay 2 and exhaust him. It's not the best ability, but one thing I really like it for is that you can just basically always do it if you have a unit on the field and you've attacked. So you always have another unit ready to go. Not just that, this can really help you to get coordinate online, so quite a few of the cards within this deck needs coordinate. For those who don't know what that is, it's a new mechanic. If you have 3 units on the field, they get that ability. So if you attack the unit, then activate Rex, instantly you have 2 units ready to go. One of the units he creates is one of these, a clone trooper token, which is a 2/2. That, plus the boosts that this deck loves to do, ends up swarming a load of these guys, hitting for like 3 damage, but they have like 5 health. It's nuts! So that's what Rex does as the leader. What does he do when he's deployed? So, he deploys on 5, and when deployed, create a clone trooper token. Each other friendly trooper gets +1. So you play him, you get a clone trooper, and that instantly gets the +1 health because it's a trooper. His stat line 2/6, I'm going to be honest, isn't amazing, but even though he's a 2/6, you can easily boost him. I'm going to do a spoiler to a couple of cards now. It's got Hugh Yang, you bring him out, choose Rex, Rex then becomes a 4/8, and then on top of that, you can also play Cody out, and with the coordinate, gets +1/+1, makes him a 5/9 with Overwhelm. Even if you don't get those boosts out, to be honest, the main reason Rex is nice is for the +1 health to your trooper units, which comes in very clutch, as you're going to see later. For the base in this deck, we run the 25 Energy Conversion Lab. So for those already spotted, it's double green we are running, which actually adds so much power to this deck, as you're going to find out in a minute. For those who don't know what it does, epic action, play a unit that costs 6 or less from your hand, give it ambush for this phase. For those who don't know, you still have to pay the card's cost. Why is that so good, do you ask? Because with the amount of cards in this deck that synergize with this is insane. With the leader and base gone over, let's crack on to the deck and start off with the ground units. Okay, let's kick things off with these ground units. We're going to start things off with 1 cost, and that is 3 Clone Deserters. This card for its cost is insanely strong, by the way. So obviously 1 cost, 2 attack, 3 health, with Restore 1. Nuts! It has got a bounty, so if it's defeated, the opponent can draw a card. I'm not overly bothered by that, to be honest. You'll be surprised how much utility this can get in. The amount of attacks it gets off, and the amount of healing it gets in, beautiful. Not just that, it's got the heroic aspect. Why is that important? Because of a card in your deck, Yalaran, given all heroic aspects +1 health, means this becomes a 2/4 1 cost. One thing to keep an eye out though, it's got Fringe and Clone, it hasn't got the Trooper trait, which is a shame, but still, solid turn 1 play. Moving on to our 2 cost units now, we run 2 Echoes. Echo, he's a 2/2, which isn't great for 2 costs, but he has got coordinate, so if you've got 3 or more units on the field, he gets +2/+2, essentially making him a 4/4 almost always within this deck. The main reason we run Echo is for the other Echo, Because this Echo is, when played, you may discard a card from your hand, give 2 experience tokens to a unit in play of the same name. They got the same name, so more often than not, I play this Echo, discard this one, giving him +2/+2, making it a 6/6. Don't get me wrong, this 2-cost Echo can come in lovely at 4/4 for a 2 cost. So you can bring him down and just hit things for a lot of damage. Not just that, because he's got the heroic aspect, Yularen gives him another plus health, and he's Trooper. So if you have Rex and Yularen on field, this guy becomes a 4/6 for 2 cost. How insane is that? Okay, our next 2 costs, we run 3 Coruscant Guards. It is a 3/2, but it has with Coordinate, which gives it Ambush. Essentially, makes it a Cloud Rider if you have the units on the field. To be honest, it's just a solid turn 1 play anyway. 3/2 stat line, you know, it's nice. Because it's a Trooper, he does get the boost from Rex, but he hasn't got the heroic, so unfortunately Yularen doesn't boost him. But anyway, because you normally have Coordinate online, it just basically gives you a 2-cost ambush almost always, which is beautiful. We all know how strong Cloud Rider is, and this is basically Cloud Rider for the deck. And our last 2 cost is probably our best turn 1 play. That is 3 Battlefield Marines. You may be thinking, hang on, this is not a clone. You're right, but it's a Trooper with the heroic aspect. So it's insane. Absolutely insane. Why is it insane? Because you get synergy with Rex, giving it +1 health. You get synergy with Yularen, giving it another +1 health. Or, if you go on turn 1 Battlefield Marine, turn 2, you can go Huyang, making it a 5/5 in your second turn. I love this card. Battlefield Marine is so strong, and within this deck, it quickly becomes an absolute beefed up stat insanity card for 2 cost. I love it. Absolutely love it. Okay, that's our 2 cost done. We move on to our 3 cost, and this one's been spoiled. We run 2 Huyang. If you don't know what Huyang does, when played, choose another friendly unit. While this unit's in play, the chosen unit gets +2/+2. Crazy strong, super strong. Why not 3? To be honest, I haven't got 3, so I haven't tried 3. I can see personally 2 being the right amount. I can see 3 maybe becoming too much, but maybe I'm talking pure rubbish. Please, if you run 3, let me know how it turns out for you. But yeah, 2 is really, really good. Like, 2 is so much power in your deck. Our next 3-cost unit is 3 Echo-based Defenders. This card is another card that's insanely strong within this deck because it's got Trooper trait again, and it's got Heroics. You know what that means? Yularen can make it a 4/4. Not just that, Rex can make it a 4/4 as well. Or, if you have Rex and Yularen on the field at the same time, means it's a 4/5 Sentinel for 3 cost. This card slows up so many decks, and if you get it out of Yularen, you normally find it takes 2 attacks to take it down, and because it's got the 4 attack, it pretty much takes them down with it. I'm rounding up our 3-cost units. It's been spoiled to you. That's Admiral Yularen. Quite possibly one of the best cards, if not the best card in the deck. Why? What does he do? So, it's 2/5, solid stats anyway, 3 cost, with Restore 1, and the main bit, each heroic aspect unit gets +1 health. Absolutely insanity within this deck. 90% of your cards are heroic, so they get that +1, and it doesn't say ground units, so it also applies to your space units. I found with Yularen on the board, he becomes such an issue that the opposition starts targeting him, and well, they normally can't kill it in the turn it comes out because it's 5 health, meaning they have to try and take it down the next turn. By then, I've normally played my Echo-based Defender, which then has 4 health, and you can quickly see how this deck starts swarming with so many units they can't deal with. That's our 3-cost units done. Let's move on to the 4 costs. We run 2 Echoes. So I was originally running 3 of this Echo and 3 of the other Echo for the combo of, you know, you play them out, get the 2 experience tokens, 6/6, lovely. I just found it was too much. I found it wasn't coming in enough. Or when it wasn't having enough impact for me to, like, want to have 6 units, all called Echo, that, you know, are situational. But don't be fooled. Getting out an Echo that's 6/6 is insanely strong. Not just that, he has Restore 2 anyway. What I have done, which is quite nice, it's as rare I've done it, but I have actually ECL'd out Echo, done his ability, discarding an Echo, making him a 6/6, and then I complete the ambush with ECL to hit into whatever. I've normally done that against Sabine. So normally they play out their Sabine leader, okay, ECL, Echo, discard, 6, boom, one-shot your Sabine, only 2 damage on it. Not just that, yeah, again, he's got the heroic aspect, meaning Yularen can boost him. Be aware though, which is kind of annoying, he's got Fringe, he hasn't got Trooper. Like, come on, he was a clone Trooper. But he hasn't got Trooper, meaning Rex doesn't get synergy, but Yularen does. Okay, our next 4 cost, and one that I run at a free, is Free Shakti. Shakti is another card in your deck that boosts other cards. So what to do? Each friendly token gets +1 attack. On attack, create a clone trooper token. If desperate, you can ECL her. I wouldn't always suggest it. But when she's out, it makes your tokens so beefy, so quick. Say, right, you got Shakti out and Yularen out. She's getting +1 health from Yularen. But then your token is getting +1 attack from Shakti, +1 attack from Yularen, meaning your token is a free. Ooh, then Rex comes out, it becomes a 3/4. You just find that +1 attack, the +1 health, it starts adding up and your opposition just can't deal with it. It's so good. Really like Shakti, like really like her. Once you get her set up and she gets a couple attacks in, it becomes almost impossible to just take out the amount of units you're getting. So that's our 4 cost units done. Let's move on to the 5 cost, and one of our first main ECL targets is Ayla Secura. She's a 5 cost. I've only got 1. I would highly suggest 2 of them, potentially 3. Why? She's a coordinate, so on attack, prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to this unit for this attack. Wow. So when you ECL and ambush her with that ability, it's nuts, because she can end up one-shotting so many units that cost a lot, or so many leaders that get deployed on the 5 resource. Not just that, you may be thinking, coordinate though, will I have it active on 5 resources? I've never not had it activated at that point. Or worst case scenario, she comes out at the same time as Rex, right? So you can activate Rex, he comes out with a token. So you've got 2 units, activate ECL, bringing her, boom, there's your free, coordinate is active. When I put this deck together, I thought, it'd be alright. It's a nice ability. No, in practice, it's insanely strong. To make up for the lack of Ayla Securas and our 5 costs, we go to Steadfast Battalion. What does this guy do? Well, he's 5/5 with Overwhelm, but on attack, if you control a leader unit, give a friendly unit +2/+2 for this phase. Do you know what I absolutely love doing with this guy? So Rex is out, activate ECL, bringing this guy out with ambush, you declare your attack into whatever, so then, because you got your leader out, you can give a unit +2/+2. Normally, I just give it straight onto Battalion, making him a 7/7 on your 5 resource turn to attack into something. Crazy. Amount of times I had this in hand, Rexy out, and I've just ECL'd, boom, have a 7/7, see you later. Not just that, he's a trooper, so Rex actually does boost him, meaning he's getting that +1 health. So he's actually becomes a 7/8 with his on attack ability. Honestly, ambushing though, for 7 damage in your 5 resource turn. Ooh, it's so good. So good. Lots of you probably got PTSD from this card from the Boba Fett days, but it's okay, Boba's gone. He won't hurt you anymore. The only thing that this is, if your Rex goes down, it's kind of, well, a bit useless and pricey. And our last 5 cost unit, and such a good card, like insanely good, is Free Commander Cody's. Do not sleep on the power of Cody. What do you do? So he's 5 costs for 4/4, which isn't the best stat line. However, now this is the big part. He's got coordinate, so each other friendly unit gets +1/+1 and gains Overwhelm. Not just clones, not just troopers, not just ground units, everything +1/+1 and Overwhelm. And because he's a trooper, he gets boosted by Rex, so he becomes a 4/5. So I'm just going to put this out there. If this is your board at the moment, and believe it or not, this will happen more often than not within this deck, this clone trooper is a very beefy boy. Because of Rex, 1 health. Shakti, 1 damage, so he's 3/3. Yularen, another health, 3/4. Because of Cody, a 4/5 clone trooper token. Not just that, these are all boosting one another as well. Like, insanely strong. So for those thinking, that is good. Like, no, it's really good. Because Shakti can just keep spawning these guys over and over and over and over. And boom, before you know it, you've got your own clone army. Good to go. Okay, so that's our 5 cost units done. Let's jump onto our 6. We've got 1 Captain Rex. I know what you're thinking, only 1 Rex. It's a Rex deck. And this part really pains me to say it, but He's not that good. 6 resource 4/4 is okay, but when played, you can create 2 clone trooper tokens, which is actually really nice. So all his stats coming out altogether is 8/8, which is actually kind of nuts, but as we all know, unfortunately, StarWarsUnlimited doesn't quite work like that. I just found when I ran free, because I did try free for ages, it just didn't quite have the oomph I wanted it. But I just found dropping 2 of these for 2 of our next card had so much more power and has got me so much success. So that being said, what is the card we put in instead of 3 Rexes? That is 2 General Rikons, or Riken, I still can't say the name. What does he do? When played on attack, choose a friendly unit. If it has Sentinel, give an experience token to it. Otherwise, it gains Sentinel to his face. So normally you play it out, giving him Sentinel. Have you realised what makes him so nuts as well? He's got the heroic aspect, meaning he gets the +1 health from Yularen, meaning he becomes a 5/8 when you play him. Not just that, if you ECL with him, so you play ECL, play him, his when played activates, normally you can make him a Sentinel, do the ambush, then his on attack activates, meaning you can then give him an experience token on top of that. So this deck was good before, but once I put 2 of these in, the power of it flew. Absolutely flew. I love him. Absolute must. Please run him. Trust me on this one. So if we've gone over, that's actually our ground units done. Let's move on to our space units. We actually run 3 Republic Arc 170s, which is a free cost. We've got no turn 1 plays in space. This is just a solid 3/4 in space. I mean, there's not much more to say. I mean, it's an Arc 170 as well. It's like the Clones Fighter. We had to put it in here. There wasn't too many good space options in mono green, so that's kind of why it's here. So our next space unit is a 4-cost and adds 3 Bright Hopes. So as a Sentinel, and when played, you may return a friendly non-leader unit to its owner's hand. If you do, draw a card. You don't normally activate that within this deck, but the 2/6 Sentinel is very nice, and because it's got the heroic symbol, Yularen actually kicks in, meaning it's normally a 2/7 Sentinel in space. This just really helps get those aggressive decks. Playing out there, boom, okay, have fun getting through this bad boy. Okay, for our 5-cost space units, we run 1 Marauder. I'd probably run more if I had more. What to do, it's got ambush, so it can attack the turn it's played, and when played, choose a card in your discard pile, put it in play as a resource if it shares the name of the unit you control. That actually comes in more than you think because of Echo's ability, just discarding cards from your hand with the same name. So yeah, bit of ramp for you. And well, it's the Bad Batch, who are clones, and that's their ship. Gotta run it. And our last space unit is a 7-cost, and that is 1 Tranquility. It's alright. It's mainly in here because we needed a big body in space, and this is the only one I had. But when played, you may return a Republic unit from discard pile to your hand, which actually is quite nice. Then on attack, each of the next 3 Republic cards you play this phase costs 1 less. That's alright, comes up, you know, a little bit, but it's mainly in there so we have a nice big body in space. That actually rounds up our space units, so why don't we crack on with the events and upgrades. Kicking things off with events and upgrades is a 1-cost, and that is Timely Intervention. We got 2 of these. I did have 3 originally, but I found with ECL and 3 of these, it's just too much. But the reason we run 2 others as well, because maybe you've activated ECL and then you drew into a Steadfast Battalion and Rex is out, but you haven't got UCL because you've used it on Echo earlier in the game. Okay, boom, here's Timely Intervention, have ambush for something else. Not just that, you can smuggle it for 1 extra cost, which is always handy. Our first 3-cost event is Strike True, just a bit of removal. We only got 1 of these. So a friendly unit deals damage equal to its power to an enemy unit. Okay, so our next 3-cost is to Manufacture Soldiers. So what does this card do? It's one of the double aspects of the reasons we run double green. So you can either create 2 Clone Trooper tokens or create 3 Battle Droids. Normally you're going to make the Clone Troopers. I'd highly suggest running Clone Troopers so you can get all their boosts. So you can have these 2 out, then maybe activate Rex on top of that, get another one out. And then if you've got all your boosts, you've then suddenly got 3 units that are like 4 health, 3 attack, or worst case scenario, just got these 2 out, like they're getting boosted on their own. I found I didn't always play it, but having the option to just suddenly spawn out 2 troops is beautiful, and do not underestimate that. Especially when it's like 5-6 resource turn, and you've got all those buffs on board, suddenly surprising your opposition with 2 more units to deal with. Lovely. Moving on to our 4-cost events and upgrades, and probably one of our best ones, that is 2 commands. I'm going to put it here right now, 100% run free if you got free. 1,000,000%, maybe drop a Strike True. Why? Why is this card so good? It's one of the reasons we run double green, to be honest. So you can choose 2 of these in any order. So you can give 2 experience tokens to a unit. A friendly unit deals damage equal to a power to an enemy non-unique enemy unit, which is kind of annoying. I wish it was any unit. I don't get why it's got that anyway. Put this event into play as a resource. Return a unit from discard pile to your hand. What was I using this card for? Normally, 4 resource turn. Give 2 experience token to Sank. Put it into resource. Boom, Rex comes out. Insane. I found if I was giving experience tokens out, more often than not, I would give it to Yularen, or if Hu Yang was out, I'd give it to Hu Yang for the sheer reason of he has 7 health and then Hu Yang has 6 and they're both hitting for 4. It just becomes such an issue for them to deal with. Not just that, because you choose the order it happens in, maybe you can give Battlefield Marine 2 experience tokens, making them a 5/5. Then you can activate a friendly unit deals damage, so you can then pick Battlefield Marine, doing that increased damage, which is now 5, to something on their side of the field. And to round up our events and upgrades is 2 7 costs, and that's 2 choose sides. This card's insane, absolutely insane. So choose a friendly non-leader unit and an enemy non-leader unit, exchange control of those units. More often than not, you've got a Clone Trooper token on the field, so you can normally trade your Clone Trooper token for one of their high-costing units, which I've done plenty of times. Not just that, in my original build of this deck, it struggled to the later game once they got their big units out. So having the choose sides, general icon, all those sorts of things just helps so much. This card's insane, by the way. Absolutely insane. But yeah, choose sides, it's so good and helps the power of this deck massively. So that's our main deck done. Let's crack on to the side deck. Just going to quickly save the side deck. This is super early days. Like, I'm still experimenting with the deck. The side deck's just kind of, it's here, but, you know, you just run whatever you want and what you feel's right. Starting things off the side deck is our third Echo. Maybe, you know, you're playing a game and you feel like, maybe I do want the extra Echo so I can get the extra discard. We then have 2 ATTE Vanguards for the sheer reason of maybe you're playing a more control-y deck that's stalling you out a bit longer. Dropping a 6/9 body with Restore 3 is nuts, but also when defeated, create 2 Clone Trooper tokens. We then run 2 Consortium Star Vipers for sheer reason of maybe if you need an extra bit of healing, it's just kind of in there. We then run 1 Clone Wars. So I was going to main deck this card. For those who don't know what it does, pay any number of resources, create that many Clone Trooper tokens. However, each opponent creates that many Battle Droid tokens. The reason I didn't main it is for the sheer reason of if you're playing an exploit deck and you activate this, then you're giving them lots of cards to exploit. So, yeah. But side deck, lovely option depending on your matchup. Then run a free cost event, which is our third Manufactured Soldiers. So, yeah, again, if you're playing one of those games and you feel like you need more troops, it's there. We run another Strike True for another bit of removal. I think I'd probably change the Manufactured Soldiers for a third Strike True, to be honest, now reflecting on this. We then run Attack Pattern Delta, which is give a friendly unit +3/+3 for this phase, give another unit +2/+2, and another one +1/+1. I was running this in the main deck, I just found it very rarely popped up. But yeah, again, if you're playing someone who's stalling you, suddenly giving a trooper +3/+3, another one 2/2, another one 1/1 was nuts. And then to round up our side deck, we got In Defense of Camino. This card's nuts, by the way. I just found I never really had the chance to play it. But this is when you're playing maybe a really aggressive deck and you need a bit of healing. So I found normally I'd play an aggressive deck, activate this, just hit all my troopers into their units, clear their board, do a load of healing, and then get a load of Clone Trooper tokens for the next turn. So that's our main deck done. Before I give you the deck list, I just want to give you a couple of honourable mentions really. Sundari Peacekeeper. Love it in this deck. I ran it for ages because all the boosts. It becomes such a beefy restore target for you. It's so good, but I just found Hu Yang personally had a little bit more potential. General's Blade is another good card within the deck. Again, though, I just found free cost. I'd rather see other things. And the last another suggestion I'd make is probably Admiral Akbar. You could probably put him in here and get a lot of success with him because he does 1 bit of damage for every unit you control in that arena. So you can see why that's so good within this deck. So there's the full deck on the screen for those who want it, and there's some options, you know, what I would add if I had it. Matchups, how's it do? So it's a very mid-rangey deck. Against aggression, it can do alright if you trade properly. Because you're always bringing out like tons and tons and tons of troopers, and against aggression, they're normally quite squidgy. You can normally take them down quite comfortably and keep troopers on your side of the field. But if you don't get the right cards, you can quickly get in a bit of trouble. But that's why we've got cards like In Defense Camino and yeah. Oh, another honourable mention at this point is probably the Liberators as well. It's the 501st Liberators, I believe it is. When you play it, you just get free health. That card's probably side deck worthy for when you play the aggression decks. Against control, this deck is actually really good. You may be thinking, yeah, but surely Snoke just absolutely demolishes you. No, because you're getting all the boosts, you're alright. And 9 times out of 10, when he's like, say, okay, activate Power of the Dark Side, I'm like, okay, I get rid of my Clone Trooper token that I got for free and doesn't really bother me. So yeah, final thoughts, really fun deck, a lot better than I thought, and I'm so hyped Rex is actually playable and he can compete. Like, I love that. Please let me know in the comments what you think about the deck and any changes you may make. And also let me know what decks you'd like me to build, because like I said, I'm going to build so many more, and I'm also going to upgrade my old deck. So for instance, the Wookiee deck's going to be coming again, an updated Jabba, an updated Hero Boba. I've got some tasty things like Hero Boba. Just you wait. And the Wookiee deck, to be fair. But yeah, I'm so hyped and so excited to bring this to you guys. Also, let me know what you think of Set 3. Like, for me personally, I am loving it. So yeah, thank you for watching my video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and hopefully I shall see you in the next one.